Good morning, YouTube. We are in Bunno, South Carolina right now, standing right in front of the post office. Bunno proper, not Bunno Beach, and we are actually headed up to the upper lake, Lake Marion in Manning, South Carolina, because we own a little piece of commercial property up there. It's got a old convenience store on it, and somebody wants to put a food truck rodeo and prep kitchen there. So we're gonna go meet this fella and talk a little bit of business, see if we can't get him into that location. I would love to see a food truck rodeo right there, and I think it would do phenomenally well, especially in the summer, because it's right next to Randolph's Landing, which you have all the Bassmaster Classics and all the fishing tournaments, and there's big campgrounds, and there's a ton of snowbirds up there. So I think it'd do really well. We are also trying to pay our P.O. Box fee for Puerto Rico here in Bunno.
Yeah. Oh, from down that way.
Yeah.
Nice home that he refurbished it just like brand new. The whole
You might not
house.
want to go back home.
The first little town that we are coming to is on Highway 52, and it is the town of St. Stephen, which is one of those little, I hate to say it, dried up farts of a town. It has seen better days. It was a big center of commerce, if you will, because it's right there on the river, the Santee River, and you also have the railway, and the rail line went through it, so they could bring stuff from the port in Charleston up the river on barges, offload it onto the rail cars, and then by train they could ship it anywhere in the country. But it's just sort of dried up. It sucks because there's hardly any existing businesses there. It's got a beautiful old main street right in front of the train station, and a lot of old Art Deco buildings and whatnot, and they're just crumbling. There's nothing there. There is an IGA grocery store in town, and that's a pretty good store. I enjoy the IGA. What do you think?
I heard it's under new management and people are raving about it. That being said, I also heard there's a new restaurant there that I forgot to tell you about, Mi Pueblito.
Oh, Mi Pueblito, that Mexican place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've heard people raving about that too.
Mi Pueblito is means my little town, which is a very suiting name for a little restaurant in St. Stephen. Maybe we can hit that on the way back.
I think that's a great idea. I saw some pictures of their food and it looks phenomenal. Like legit good Latin food, you know?
Okay, we just passed the IGA and a little vacant lot where the owner of the lot allows food trucks to come out and set up free, just because he's trying to attract more business and activity to St. Stephen. And how many trucks were there when we passed?
There were two.
Okay.
And it looks like there was something else set up there, and the way it was set up, it was under a certain size and it was on wheels. So I'm wondering like what kind of like permanent structure, zoning, something they're getting around the way that they have it set up.
Something, I'm not sure.
Yeah, there's something going on there.
We just went over one of the branches of the Santee River, and we're cruising over the other one right up here. We are now entering into Williamsburg County, and we are heading over the main branch of the Santee River. To the left upstream, up there, is the dam, and behind that dam is Lake Marion. Just turned on Highway 375. The next little town we come to is Greyville, and there's not much of a town. There is no town. Cluster of a couple of farms, farmhouses, a church, cemetery, and there was an old country store that looks like it's been defunct and out of business for the last 30 years or so. Could be 20 though. And I've always liked Greyville, specifically because it has got, in our immediate local area, the most inexpensive agricultural land that I can find. I'm talking stuff that has been cleared, timbered, and you can run a disker through it and start planting. Because I have always had a dream of owning my own private dove field, planted with sorghum and corn and sunflower and winter wheat and all the other stuff that dove like. Here is our turn at the old stables and tractor barn, and that is going to put us up towards White Bluff, or is it Oak Bluff, or is it White Oak? I can't remember the name of the little neighborhood.
I don't know. I think it's Oak something.
Yeah, I think it might be White Oak. Yeah. But it's up where Randolph's Landing is, right on Lake Marion. And this, to the left, is somebody's dove field. You can see the sunflowers, you can see the corn, you can see the millet, you can see the sorghum. I always get so jealous whenever I drive past that field. Okay, y'all just saw the video where we were in the upstate, up in Greyville, and all the fall colors on the leaves. Here, you can see everything's still pretty green. Like, the leaves have not really started to change at all yet. There's a little bit right there, that looks like a sycamore tree. And that looks like a dogwood. So it looks like the sycamores and the dogwoods have started to change, but nothing else really has. We got a little bit of a detour here, y'all. The detour now has us coming around parts of the lake on a dirt road.
This is the upper lake, huh?
Yeah, well, that's actually that lagoon on this side of Highway 60.
Oh, right.
And it's landlocked. You can get to the big lake from the little like lagoon pond thing here, but it connects to the big lake through culverts. So you have to have a small, tiny little john boat, canoe, kayak, something like that. If you have a pontoon boat, you're stuck on this side of Highway 260. We are pretty much here. We're coming in from the other side, but we're here. Oh, that thing is overgrown. We don't have the keys, but hopefully we have the combo to the lockbox. We finally got inside. I was getting a little worried because the combo to the lockbox was not working. Finally, on the third combination number, we got it to open, and now we're inside.
I think that's everything.
Well, we did get inside, and we showed it to the prospective tenant, and now I think we're gonna go eat dinner. Okay, y'all, we are now going to one of our favorite restaurants, the Pond Steakhouse, which is out in Boykin, South Carolina. Sort of like Boykin Spaniel, which is our state dog. That's the little town it's in. There's not much of a town, it's just the steakhouse. It's really high end, it's out there in the middle of nowhere, and it's awesome. And we are going there with the folks that just looked at the property with us. They are new to the area, and we were talking about it, and they were like, geez, that sounds like a good idea. And we were all like, well, heck, let's go grab some grub. We've got another detour, y'all. And I see a big crane ahead, too. It looks like they are working on a lot of the bridges that cross over the fingers of the lake.
Continue on James Loop Road.
We are on the same dusty detour we were on before. And I missed the turn. So Henry is now taking the lead. I'm following Henry. I sent him the address via text before we took off. Yeah. We are now in Sumter, South Carolina, which for those of y'all that watch the channel, we come up here quite a bit. There's all kinds of cool stuff. It's got a cool little downtown area with a lot of restaurants, all cobblestone and brick lined. They've got the old opera house, the old theater house. What else is there?
Swan Lake.
Oh, Swan Lake.
Yeah. Which
was the private gardens of some really wealthy individual back after the Civil War, or was it antebellum? Antebellum, for y'all that don't know, is pre-Civil War. And it has now been turned into a municipal park full of ponds. They call it Swan Lake. It's gorgeous. I don't know how many acres it is, but it's like several hundred, I'd assume.
And it's right in the middle of town, too, which is weird.
Yeah, it is. It's right in the middle of town, and they've got a creek and a series of ponds and lakes, and they actually have every single swan species in the world. And it's a super, super clean, well manicured. Is this it here on the left?
Yeah,
It's,
I think it is.
we're gonna be passing it on the left. You can't see much from the outside.
Iris
but-
Gardens, remember that?
Oh yeah, Iris Gardens.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's also a bridge that crosses from the main section of the park over to like a swamp walk, like a raised platform that goes through a swamp on the other side of the road. I'll try to get a video of the park as we come up to it. We are getting closer. We're also losing light. I hope I'm there before dark so y'all can see the mill pond and everything. I can show you all around a little bit. It is 5:03 right now, and Real Babes just informed me that sunset is 5:17. So we'll have a little bit of daylight after sunset, not much. I doubt y'all are gonna be able to see much of the outside at Mill Pond, but I'm gonna keep my fingers crossed.
Maybe we'll see some sun setting over some cornfields on the way over.
Maybe. There goes the sun. Oh, it just ducked it down behind the hills and trees. We are 14 minutes away. It's 5:10. We'll probably have enough light to show y'all around the outside of the Pond Steakhouse. Are you excited?
I am excited. Their food's so good.
Okay, we just came through Bishopville and then Scrape or Swamp. And I know a lot of y'all probably aren't familiar with the South Carolina Lizard Man, but we have this cryptozoological species, sort of like Bigfoot, the Yeti, so on and so forth. And the South Carolina Lizard Man lives in Scape or Swamp. And he has attacked people, everyone that's ever encountered the Lizard Man, and everyone that's ever gone to the police and whatnot. They interview these people, they put them on polygraphs, and everyone passes with flying colors. So, is there really a lizard man? I don't know. Now, the artist depictions show him looking sort of like a slee stack from like Land of the Lost, except the lizard man has a tail. And people have seen him from aircraft. They've seen him running through fields and whatnot. One kid, he was young, I think he was like 18, 19, was coming up one of the roads and saw the lizard man ahead, slowed his car down to a stop. The lizard man jumped on top of his car and tried clawing in through the roof. The guy took off and drove straight to the police station. And that's when the police are like, what are you talking about? They looked out, they saw the damage. And if y'all Google this, there's images on using the Google search engine for the damage to the top of his car. Nobody can really explain it. And when this kid got to the police department, he was scared out of his mind. Rightfully so. He just got attacked by a big reptilian human thing.
It's supposed to be like bigger than a human or something, right? Like
It's
7
taller.
feet? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 6'8", 7 foot, something
Yeah.
like that. Do you believe in the lizard man?
I don't know, man. The 7 foot thing is what gets me. Like, I'd be like, it's just some crazy guy in a costume,
Could
right?
be.
But like,
Look at all the cotton.
oh yeah,
It's all ripe. They've been harvesting it.
yeah.
Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. But like, I don't know very many people that are 7 feet tall. Do you?
No.
Yeah, I don't
No.
know.
And in the town of Bishopville, which is the closest town to Scape or Swamp, where the lizard man is, there is a restaurant. And I cannot I think it's called Lizard Lick, actually, something like that. But it is a lizard man themed restaurant. And I've always wanted to go. Do you have any desire?
Depends on their Google ratings and if the food is any good.
Okay. We just made our turn. We are on the old Boykin Mill Road, and we're going to be there pretty soon. Y'all can see we are in the middle of nothing but cornfields, cotton fields, and that's about it. Looks like they've been working on the old church. Here we are, that cluster of buildings with the cars pulling up out front. They're the old mill buildings. And Saturday, they're looking busy, and they just opened. Now, supposedly there is seating at the bar, but there are no reservations for at least 2.5 hours, 7:30. Okay, here's one of the old mill buildings. Y'all can see the bridge and the water underneath, and then it's backed up in this little dam. And that's what provided the pressure to spin the wheel. You can see some of it right there. That ground all the corn and grain, whatever else they're grinding. This is an old mill house. And the pond behind the restaurant that backs up all the water for the mills is huge. I'll try to get some video of that before we lose light altogether. This is one of the old turbines. And you can see the water came this way, caught this, and that's what turned everything, and then it was connected to gears.
Yeah, Walmart parking lot wasn't it in my head. Yeah, but
I just came outside. We've still got a little bit of light. You can see a bridge. You can see the pond behind it. And you can see right there, beneath it, is probably about a 20-foot elevation difference. You can hear the water rushing over. That's one of the dams that was used to back up all the water to power the mills. And then this little creek goes down there, or canal, I guess, and links up with the first mill house I showed you.
Pictures and Brie sound really good too.
So I think
Maybe 5 to 7 miles or whatever.
There's your filet.
Yes, it looks fantastic. Oh, look at yours, baby.
Oh, I'm excited.
Holy moly,
Perfecto. So we just finished dinner.
We have grubbed and now we're on to dessert.
That's okay, I don't think it'd be mine. Have a good night.
You as well, thank you.
Thanks so much.
For those of y'all that watch the channel, you've definitely been to the Pond Steakhouse with us before. We love it. It's about an hour from our house. Actually, it's a little bit more. It's in the middle of nowhere, and it is so well worth the drive. If y'all are ever in the area, please go check it out. You will not be disappointed. Love y'all. We got more videos coming, so I'm gonna wrap this one up. It's Sunday, and I hope y'all are enjoying a Sunday fun day, and we will talk to y'all soon. Bye, y'all.